The Fabulous 413 podcast is funded by Ski Sundown in nearby New Hartford, Connecticut. Open 7 days and nights a week with a variety of terrain for skiers and snowboarders of all abilities. Hours at skisundown.com. Winter made better. The Fabulous 413 podcast is funded by UMass Amherst School of Public Policy. Admissions now open for graduate programs in 2025. Learn how to become a changemaker at umass.edu/SPP.
Welcome to the Fabulous 413. I'm Khalees Smith.
And I'm Monty Belmonte. Later in the show, we'll face the horrors of language as Word Nerd Emily Brewster introduces us to words that describe our fears.
And we'll give you a community-minded and supported place to take your kids this vacation week and beyond as the Holyoke Children's Museum lets us run amok in its exhibits, just like your kids will.
First, you may have noticed some ice outside.
But is that going to stop us from visiting an extra swanky spot in Amherst repping local produce?
Of course not.
I mean, have you met us?
This is a CISA segment, and CISA is locally grown, and there are a lot of plants here.
There's plants up to the ceiling in here.
I know you're really tall, Alden, but I'm assuming you cannot water these yourself.
Absolutely not. And if we did have to water all of these, it would take a long time because there's almost 500 of them. So they're all watered with a self-watering system in the ceiling, which is activated by an app, and we just come in once a week and water them and wipe up the excess water, and it's done.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's like a little hydroponic display of beautiful houseplants.
Yeah, no, it is something else.
And it is extra nice in February, I
Yes,
think. Just to have
we get
some
our extra oxygen.
verdant walls here.
People always ask if we have outdoor seating, and I was like, I wish we do, but we do have a lot of plants that make you feel outdoors.
Time for a local hero spotlight with Claire Morneau from CISA, the local hero, folks, and Alden Piotr here at Protocol on North Pleasant Street in Amherst. This is a swanky, newish restaurant that I have not been in until right now, but there's a giant mirror ball above us, and there's these really cool lamps and all sorts of plants.
I've seen your beautiful billboard every time I go to Northampton.
That was your idea.
Yes,
job.
to get people over from Northampton, I wanted more of the local community going towards Amherst because I feel like there's a bit of a divide with the bridge.
Yeah, it's impossible actually to leave Northampton and come to Amherst, so congratulations,
Yes.
you have done it.
I make it every day. The trek is really, it's a tough 10 minutes, but I made it.
That's real.
When I moved to the Valley, I couldn't believe that was a real thing, having
Yeah.
grown up in the Boston area where, like, if you want to go anywhere, it's going to take you an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So to go 10 minutes from
Yeah.
Northampton to Amherst, I'm like, what the hell's your problem? Anyway, especially if you know the back roads, then it's like that.
Yeah.
But, well, first of all, you've been on our show several times, wearing different hats. You were managing a space across the bridge, and now you're part of Protocol. Tell us about the mission and vision of Protocol.
Yeah, Protocol, we really brought it to bring a metropolitan vibe to Amherst because we found that, with all the students and the academics coming through here, we're halfway between Boston and New York. And we were just getting a lot of people that were not familiar with the beautiful farmland that is Amherst and wanted a bit of a modern take on it. So we designed the place to be a bar. It ended up being a really popular restaurant because we have our super talented chef John in the kitchen and he does everything completely from scratch. So the food really took off, and the big problem we kind of faced was we built this place with this giant bar, as you can see, and a very small kitchen. So it's limited in what we can put out, but we've had really creative people back there that have done super awesome stuff with local produce that I'm super excited to talk about.
Introduce us to Chef John. What's his last name? Where does he come from?
He has no John is his last name.
John,
his
and
first
Chef
name
is his
Chef.
first name.
It's
Interesting.
first name, yeah.
Hello there, children.
John Leverall is his name. He has a bit of a French background. He came on with us in the beginning.
Which was when?
March 2023. So he's been here grinding it all out since in the very small place in the back. But all of his foods are super creative. Whenever we just did our Valentine's Day menu special here, and it was amazing because I was just like, I can't even pronounce any of these words. But they're all fantastic.
Well, I will do my part, which is to say, tell us about the local sourcing and local ingredients. What farms do you all work with?
Yes.
Especially in the winter.
Yes, especially.
I know you just got back from Hawaii to this.
to this brutal climate, but we do. I have a little list in front of me because it is a lot. We do use obviously a lot more in the summer, but we use a few local farms immediately in the area with Hadley, Plainville Farm. We get our beets, rutabaga from them. Maple Line is where we get all of our dairy. Boulder Top is where we get the mushrooms for our mushroom handheld sandwich that we have here. We use this really cool group of students that work from UMass. and they're supreme microgreens, so that's really cool, and we top everything with that.
Wait, are they growing it at UMass or are they former UMass students?
They're former UMass students, but I don't know exactly where they work out of. They have some kind of situation.
It's a secret.
It's a secret.
Fine with me. I just
Yeah.
didn't know. I was like, it would be cool if there was a business on campus at UMass.
No, I don't know about the ethics of that, but either way, they're great. And then, yeah, for a little further away, we use H2O Farms for our butter and bib lettuce, and Tiny Acre Farms for the edible flowers and garnishes for cocktails and desserts and stuff like that. And the list is a lot longer in the summer, obviously, but because we live in such rich, prosperous lands around us, so...
Yeah, that's a very good list for February, I would say.
Yeah, for sure.
You mentioned that you're using edible flowers for cocktails. Do you get to use other local produce in your bar menu?
No, yeah. In the summer, we try and do a lot of herbal-focused things. Savory cocktails are really in. I mean, we had someone on social media asking us to do a Caesar salad martini.
I don't know if that's gross or awesome.
No,
I would definitely try it.
You put an anchovy in there?
Okay, I'm literally trying to figure out, like, okay, so what do you do to make this work? Do you fat wash to try and get the dairy component in, and do you bring the egg in? Like, do you accidentally make it a flip instead?
I think it's just a Parmesan rim, right?
You'd
It's
probably,
not just a Parmesan
You'd
rim.
probably infuse, honestly, you'd probably infuse the Parmesan and the crusted, croutons into, because you would get that flavor if you did it into, like, a vodka or something.
Right.
You would just really need to strain that afterwards.
Yeah.
I want a dirty Caesar martini with a skewered anchovy.
Yeah.
in it.
That's what I'm like, you have to garnish with the anchovy.
That would be amazing, actually.
No,
I would
this
definitely
is-
try it.
No, this way lies madness.
Et tu, Brute? Am I using that right?
I'm going to go get a menu. I'll be right back. Talk amongst yourselves.
One right there.
Okay, we've got the protocol menu here at North Pleasant Street in Amherst with Alden P. Otter, and we're taking a look at all of the delicious stuff. See, now, I lived in Amherst for the first couple years I lived here, and I also was a huge fan of Chez Albert, which no longer exists, although Waxwing in Hatfield is
its
the remnant.
successor,
Yeah.
sort of.
But it's fun to have like a right downtown Amherst place to go with a big bar with all sorts of delicious French-inspired treats, which is I would go to Chez Albert for lunch and eat solely escargot and drink a whole bottle of Bordeaux. But this kind of stuff, I mean, they do have classic Caesar salad to eat and not just drink, but there's like duck confit and
Look,
pork
there's
schnitzel.
escargot for you.
And escargot, which is the reason I wanted to get this menu out, just to check, because now my wife and I know where we're going to be coming. What about the meats? How many of those things are sourced locally? How easy is it to get those things that you're wanting for this type of menu?
Yeah, we mainly get all of our meats through Arnold's, which has a lot of local farms that they work with. Otherwise, we try and have a lot of vegan stuff. So there's,
there you go.
like on the sandwiches, there is meat, like the duck and stuff like that. But
Liver mousse. Oh my God. Are you open yet?
No, there's no lunch during the week. You have to come during dinner. Lunch is on the weekend.
Okay, so lunch.
Amherst and lunch is a tough sell. There's places like the Black Sheep Deli, like can't compete. we did brunch one day a week when we opened, and we brought it back for both weekends, which I'm very excited about.
Okay.
But it's definitely a slow roll because brunch is the most word of mouth time to eat.
Because when you find out a place that does it, you have to go early because it soon gets ruined by, not ruined for you, it's like good for you that it gets flooded, ruined for everybody else who wants to enjoy brunch by it being flooded with people.
Well, this would be good for you because ours opens at 11. We do 11 to 2 because it was definitely more of a lunch brunch than a breakfast.
And then for dinner, you're open when?
Every day at 4. During the week, we're open till 10, but Friday, Saturday, we're open till midnight.
Are you open on Mondays?
Yes. We're open every day of the week.
Again, my wife brilliantly has always said, if there was just a restaurant that would say, I'll be open on Monday, they would probably kill
Look,
it.
here you are.
I've worked at many restaurants where we are open on Mondays, and Mondays and Tuesdays can sometimes be the busiest weeknight because so many places are closed.
Yeah.
Now, if everyone follows suit, we'll see if that still works. But
Take the win while you've got it.
yeah.
What's your current favorite thing on this menu? I'm sorry.
No, that was going to be my exact question.
Oh my God, the escargot is great.
I can't
'Cause
wait.
I'm picky about escargot. But otherwise, I really, really like all of the seasonal salads we do, and probably we have the best fries in the area.
That's a bold assertion.
It's the
Fries are-
aioli, which is just cheating. But
I'm a sucker for aioli. You're not a mayo fan.
No, okay, aioli is different. The way you make it is different.
Aioli.
The way it tastes is different.
Yes.
Aioli is cool. Mayo is gross.
all right.
Aioli is just hipster mayo.
So that was a really strong opinion.
The way you make it is different.
Bring out the Hellmans and bring out the best.
You did have businesses in Northampton, and now you're in Amherst. How different do those two towns feel business-wise?
Amherst is really, I can really feel like a bunch of excitement in Amherst. I think Northampton is going through this weird phase of trying to re-find itself, whereas Amherst has kind of picked a path and is going towards it, and I'm really excited to see that. I don't know, Northampton, it was a lot of the same people, and Amherst you get new people from all over.
Is that because of the UMass presence? Like that means that people are constantly cycling through in a different sort of way?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is UMass. I mean, we get a lot of people, like we do rehearsal dinners here all the time for weddings, and it's students that have been here before that came and went to school here, and they come back to the area for their wedding. It's a really unique thing where people are so happy with their experiences in Amherst that they actually want to come back.
Nice.
Which is a Western Mass thing, is everyone leaves and comes back when they're 50, but I'm happy they're doing it before then.
Rahmspringer. You do have a little private section back there, too, that you can make reservations for and have private parties. Yeah?
Yep. We have a private back area. Yeah.
Sorry, that just sounds like an innuendo. We have a private back area that we only use for special occasions, but you can request it if you want.
Ladies and gentlemen of the GED class of 1999, I have one piece of advice for you.
There's no door.
Yes.
I've been around you too long.
We know what not to do in the champagne room. We are with Alden Piotr, who's the operations manager of Protocol on North Pleasant Street in Amherst. It's a newish restaurant. You got 2 years under your belt. When UMass developed this reputation for having such excellent food on campus, it really kept so many people on campus. And even at events like Parents' Weekend, where they would have come to a restaurant, now they were more staying towards campus, and that made it really hard for them to exist down here. Have you been able to help bridge that gap and get people off of campus here, and if so, how?
I think that was huge, and we were just talking about lunch and how that really affects things. UMass does keep its students on campus with having such a great dining program. I definitely think students are wanting a bit more. I went to UMass, I love the dining program there, but going out to town was always like a special thing.
Yeah.
So I think that remains the same, and we've definitely seen a boost for that, because what's also interesting about running a bar and restaurant is you're really only capturing juniors and seniors anyway that are coming out, and every time the seniors graduate, it's a whole new class. So between semesters, we have a very different audience of people in here. Some can be crazy and off the walls, and others can just be like traditional diners. So it is really cool, but we do get a lot of UMass students. Summer in Amherst is always quiet because it's, the population goes down by 70%. But we were really surprised this year to see just how many people are coming out on the weeknights from the students and when they're gone as well.
I want to ask about opening a new restaurant in this sort of post/tail end of the pandemic moment. And I don't know how risky that felt and what your observations are about how the restaurant industry has changed.
Yeah, so I was not here for right at the beginning of Protocol. I came on pretty much in December of last year. From what I know about it, it was tough, but it was something everyone was excited about. Everyone wants a new space, which is why when we're opening Amherst Oyster Bar in the very coming months, that I will be able to speak to. That is much more of a big, scary thing to me because that is the real deal.
I mean, you said oyster bar, and that's speaking our language is...
It's in the old Judy spot, and there's been rumor about this oyster bar for now well over a year. I think probably like 2 years.
2 years.
I've been chomping at the bit.
If not more than 2.
Yes.
So it really is actually happening this
Okay,
time.
good.
Really crazy big seafood menu, a whole oyster display on the bar, and you walk in and it's a whole different experience. Similar to when you walk into Protocol, it's like it doesn't feel like small town Amherst.
No.
It's a lot newer in here. So
My immediate response is say less, but we're on radio and you're supposed to say more.
Yeah. Alden, tell me what you can about your overall vision for restaurants on this stretch of North Pleasant Street, because Protocol will be as part of a group with this new oyster bar. What's the name of the group, and what's your vision for downtown?
So as I said with Protocol earlier, it was bar forward. We wanted there to be a bigger nightlife because I think it kind of inspires a lot of young people to go out, experience towns like they have probably pre-pandemic. The idea with the restaurant group is that we have a bunch of new places that feel outside of Amherst that are also including Amherst at the same time. So the restaurant group will be tentatively called Amherst Innovative Hospitality.
You're already open here.
The Amherst Oyster Bar, we have this really cool place called Patio that's going to be opening over by Amherst College. That will be also very locally sourced herbal beverages, colorful. And then right to the right of Protocol, we have Wired coffee bar and espresso bar at night, which will be featuring espresso into the night, so you will be awake for all of these spots. But it will be completely designed around espresso, but cafe during the day as well. So just a bunch of stuff to really bring out a new life in Amherst. And hopefully the surrounding areas all participate as well.
I mean, there is that billboard trying to coax everyone from Northampton. This tiny little jaunt over the bridge.
Yes.
Does it say like you can get there? I haven't noticed.
No, well, it's down now, but I think if the next one, it's like you can do it.
You can do it.
We should do that.
Come on, you got this.
Well, I remember just seeing it, and I was like, Protocol, cool name. And then you could see the picture of inside, and I was like, swanky.
Yeah.
What? Who didn't tell me about this in Amherst? But now we know, and we know. Escargot. Even if they're not locally sourced like Cisa would like it, I'm eating it.
I love the food, don't get me wrong, but like you have this giant bar and this beautiful bar menu, which includes virgin drinks and communal drinks. Can you talk about the importance of having both of those on your menu?
What's a communal drink? Like a scorpion bowl?
Essentially, there's these giant glass pitchers we have over there. We originally were like, okay, only large groups can have them, but now we put less strong drinks in them. If it is just a couple, you can sit there. But, I don't judge. But it's a very elaborate experience of, you get to pour your own drink into the cup and it's all garnished up nicely. But those are the communals. But then when we're talking about mocktails or virgin drinks, that was huge. There's so many people that aren't drinking, but we want them to be included in this space. We just did a whole Dry January program where we would release multiple non-alcoholic cocktails throughout the week, non-alcoholic wines and beers as well. We always run that every January because, we obviously need people to come out in January and still feel like they can treat themselves to something special, but we try and have those year round.
Cool.
This has been great. Can I poke my head into the back room?
Oh, yeah.
Shit. I mean, cornbread.
Yes.
Nothing wrong with it.
it.
Protocol's menu is seasonal, so we're betting that sometime in March or April there will be some changes.
Hopefully not to the snails.
Hopefully not. Let's keep an eye on their website for those details. Later, a little horror in our vocab as resident wordster Emily Brewster explores words about fears.
And next, we cast those fears aside for play at the Holyoke Children's Museum.
You're listening to the Fabulous 413 on 88.5 NAPM.
The Fabulous 413 podcast is funded by Northeast Solar, offering solar options, energy security, and solutions for the local community. Learn more at northeast-solar.com. The Fabulous 413 podcast is funded by Window World of Western Mass, a local family-owned and operated complete exterior remodeling business offering windows, siding, gutters, and more. windowworldofwesternma.com.
Khalees, you were just sitting in an electric car.
Is it? I don't think it's an electric car, but it is a car, and it's inside.
Is that an electric car?
It is electric. You can charge it.
You can't drive it here in the museum.
No, I wouldn't recommend it.
We are at the Holyoke Children's Museum, which is such a fun place, and this little area is so cool, next to the Volleyball Hall of Fame, and the carousel, and the skate park, and right in downtown Holyoke. What's your name?
My name's Emmy Garrick. I'm our programming coordinator here.
And what's your name?
Hi, I'm Julie Cologne. I am the operations manager.
It's February vacation, so a lot of people are already sick of their children, and they need something to figure out to do with them, and going to a museum is one of the most fun things that you can totally do, and this is a little gem of a museum in Holyoke. You've got a bunch of programs that are coming up that we'll talk about a little bit, but take us to something cool.
Absolutely.
I mean, besides the cat structure, because that's always the best part of any children's museum.
Are there cats here?
No, there's children. You put
yeah.
them in the cat structure.
Right.
We call that one our curvy climber. It's one of our most popular exhibits for sure. We could definitely start over there.
Okay.
It is really fun.
The Boston Children's Museum started doing adult nights. So my sister and I would drive out, like they'd have it open and there would be a bar, and we wouldn't do anything except sit in their giant 3-story structure.
That is a great idea. I would totally come and do this, because while I have children, they're pretty old now. And you don't want to show up to a children's museum just with grown-ups.
No.
Oh yeah. Going into the curvy climber was definitely one of the first things I did when I started here. It was like, oh, I can go in there too? Perfect.
This is structurally sound?
That's fine.
All right.
Hell yeah.
I'm a cat.
We were going to do other things, but we're just going to have the whole interview from in here now.
I don't think I can get through that
You can get through that.
Can I get out? Is the question.
Yes, you also can get
Woo,
out.
woo, woo.
Oh, I love this so much.
Get out of the way, little kid. No, I'm just kidding. There was no little kid there. You didn't know what you were getting into when you invited us here, Emmy, did you? Immediately we jump into the climber.
I mean, that's the best thing to do here. I always say that it's just as much fun for the grown-ups as it is for the kids. And we, as the staff, have the best time when the grown-ups want to play, too.
Sorry to be grown-ups, kids. How often do you go and do that as the operations manager here?
You know, every time a kid gets stuck up here, doesn't want to come down, whenever they bring our toys up there, we have to go up and get it.
So it is like cats.
Definitely 100% just
They
like
go
cats.
up the tree, but they don't know how to get down. Take us to something else? Oh, we gotta wait for Emmy.
Had to make my way down, got lost in the maze.
What else is a fun thing to come see?
We can head over to our water table, which is another area in this kind of section of the museum. It's modeled after our dam structure because you can see right outside, we're right on the canals. So we're taking a look at hydropower and how these are able to control via water.
The Holyoke Dam is also an awesome field trip to go on. If you get an opportunity, especially when the shad are moving and the fish elevator is going and moving the shad. Yeah, super cool.
It's so cool. Even our friends over at the Visitor Center often do a mill walk for our staff so we can get familiarized, and
cool.
It's super cool. And of course, kids immediately flock towards the water. We have some regulars who know to bring a change of clothes because they'll come over and be drenched.
It also explains why when I walked in, I said, it smells like a pool.
Yep, there you go. Where should we go next, Julie? Should we go ambulance, maybe?
Yeah, right over to our cityscape area. It's all of our play pretend exhibits.
We need an ambulance already because we were in that crawley thing, but here is a model ambulance that says Holyoke Medical Center on it.
I feel like something is being said about our age and our ability to move around in the crawley structure.
The crawley structure and then right to the ambulance. It's a wooden ambulance, but it's got all sorts of cool medical stuff here.
There's a narwhal waiting for treatment.
Bye, buddy. Hope you find your dad.
Thanks, Mr. Narwhal.
This is all real stuff. Where did the components of the ambulance come from?
Yeah, so the Children's Museum, it's an old place with a lot of history, and we've had a long kind of standing relationship with various organizations who came and built these structures for us. So the ambulance is quite old, actually, but that's all where it comes from, is people with big hearts who want to come and build something rad for the kids to come and play with.
And it's cool how it is homage to the city of Holyoke with the dam water structure, with this ambulance and Holyoke Medical Center, is why I'm assuming you're calling this part of it cityscape.
Exactly, so it's a little slice of Holyoke right inside the museum.
Nice.
You'll actually see the continuation of that with our pizza parlor over here, which was originally sponsored by Capri Pizza, which is right around the corner. We've got brick oven, best pizza in town. You can add any toppings.
It's the best pizza because it's imaginary, but it's fun.
High standards here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really hard to get a reservation.
And then tell me about this giant Pez collection over here.
The Pez collection actually has a really fun story. There was a woman out in, I believe it was Oregon, who spent basically her whole life collecting Pez. We have, if you can believe it, way more in storage. And when she passed, her family started contacting museums and organizations out on the West Coast, and then they started going farther and farther and farther, asking who would take these Pez until they made it all the way to Massachusetts. And we said, you know what? That's really cool. We'll take them.
Does it have any connection to Holyoke, or is it just awesome and Pez?
Honestly, it's just really awesome. With the Pez, we actually have a Pez hunt around the museum. So we have printed out images of some of our favorite characters on Pez, and if kids find all of them and circle them on our little slips, they can bring it up to the front desk and get stickers. So,
But they don't get Pez.
We do sell Pez in the gift shop.
Because nothing tastes like candy extracted from a character's neck.
Look at my poor neck, all bare and tender and exposed.
We're coming into one of our other most popular areas, as you can see from all the food out on the floor. We've got our kitchen, and right next to it we have our Little Y grocery store, which has an operating, scanning cashier center, which is very fun.
I'm glad somebody finally started calling it Little Y. There is a small Big Y at Tower Square right near the radio station that I call Little Y all the time.
It just makes sense.
Yeah. The other big thing that Holyoke is known for, as A, birthplace of volleyball, which we already just said, and B, Paper City, there are some old photographs of when this was a paper mill town, but of their paper, it looks like a paper-related exhibit over there, too.
Absolutely, right? Yeah. We're coming up to our art studio where we actually have our friend Drew doing a paper-making demo right now.
Who better to do a paper thing than a person named Drew?
Yes, if you want to come join in. Drew has worked here for 10 years and is a wealth of knowledge, so they're going to walk us through that now.
Hello, Drew.
to meet you guys.
What did you drew on this paper today?
Nothing yet until it dries, unfortunately. I've got a whole collection of different shapes for us to be able to make our paper out of. We've got, all of these are cookie cutters, and the paper itself is actually recycled paper from here at the museum. We leave it on cardboard that came from anything that we bring into the museum, shopping-wise. That way it dries in something that is also recycled. So we try and make sure that this process is as eco-friendly as possible to show that its importance to be reduced, reusing, recycling. And since we're also Paper City, it's a great connection to our history as well.
Do you want to make paper and I'll record it?
Okay.
Because I only have one hand. I have to hold the recorder.
Yeah, so feel free to choose any shape that you guys would like.
Okay, we'll make bunnies.
Excellent. We can go ahead and put that on the middle of the tray. Would you like to scoop this paper pulp?
I mean, of course.
It looks a little like clam chowder.
Yeah.
It does a little, actually, yeah.
More like Rhode Island clam chowder?
Yeah.
I would not recommend eating this, though.
Okay, what? It's just
Why
wet.
not? There's plenty of fiber in it.
That is true.
Is it really just like wet old paper?
That is correct, yes. I actually just grabbed this from our shredder earlier today.
So you don't have to do anything else to it. You just get old paper wet.
Apart from blending it. And it gets this nice consistency, so that way it's easily malleable.
Nice. Okay, Khalees's bunny mold of paper.
I've got a rag on top of the shape itself. You're gonna go ahead and push down using 2 fingers on each hand and try and hit everywhere on the surface. What we're doing is we've got it on top of a mesh that allows the water to just fall right through back into the tray.
You can't wring it out. You gotta press it out.
Exactly.
If I wring it out, it will no longer be bunny shaped.
Exactly.
It will be ball shaped, and that's a different thing.
Ooh, it looks good.
Excellent. And I'm gonna grab you a crayon real quick. Do you have a color preference for crayon?
Orange.
Orange, fantastic. That's my favorite color. There you go. And I'm gonna have you write your name on the edge.
Okay.
And this way we know whose paper is who before you leave for the day. So you
Gotcha.
Nice.
I'm gonna go ahead and put it on top, flip the whole thing over, and would you like to give it a couple of hard taps? Just boom, 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 boom.
That was like a magic trick. It's like a rabbit out of a hat.
That's how we've been making paper for as long as I've been here. That's actually how I got my start here. I was a volunteer back in my freshman year of high school.
Thanks for showing us how to make paper,
Of
Drew.
course, guys. It was very nice meeting you.
Thanks for my money.
Of course.
Do you guys have fun in the art studio? Yeah. We're passing by our beautiful rooftop garden right now. Up there we're modeling after urban gardening and hydroponics. And we've got a few rows and veggies that kids can pick and plant and get ready. And back here is our world of motion, which is where we're looking all at physics and just how things go. We've got our interactive iPlay floor, which is really cool. The projector actually registers your shadow, and kids are able to interact with a kind of fun review of games.
This kid's stomping some sort of firefly. Looks fun. Then the floor turns to lava, just to freak everyone out.
Then you can build your own racer. We've got circuits over here and our racetrack.
Julie, are you gonna make one of these things go? They're like kind of Lego cars.
And line up a few here at the top of the racetrack. Then we're gonna let down the barrier and see which
Yellow car wins. Red car nosedives.
make it.
Yeah.
Car wins at 1.543 seconds.
Oh, cool. It's cool that it gets timed and everything.
Yeah. We've got our bottle rockets over here, which are very fun.
Pointless act! You don't give a $500 tip to the housekeeper! That's inappropriate!
We wind it up and then press the button. Press the button.
A literal bottle rocket with a plastic bottle. They inject with air and shoot off. Anybody know how long the Holyoke Children's Museum has been here?
Yeah, we opened in 1981 and originally only had 3 exhibits: the fire truck, the ambulance, and papermaking. And then
Because the mill would catch on fire, people would get injured, and that was all Holyoke had going at the time.
Wow, not what I was thinking, but okay.
Yeah, and we've grown and grown and grown over the years, and we've got 15 plus exhibits now, which is very fun.
I also love that almost all of the instructions and things are in English and in Spanish, which seems perfect for the city of Holyoke.
Of course, we have a huge Spanish-speaking population. It's very important that we feel inclusive to everyone.
Yeah.
When we're looking at bilingual exhibits, we actually have our newest exhibit, the Paw and Play, around here, which has a lot of educational graphics that we made sure we had in English and Spanish as accessible as possible. So exhibit is examining working dogs and their role in our community. we look at basically a model of an agility course where we can compare what are humans able to do, what are dogs able to do, and how do they use those skills to help us every day.
Got to team up with Dakin and get some real dogs in here, too.
For the opening, speaking of real dogs, we teamed up with Love on a Leash therapy dogs. Very fun. We had 7 dogs.
Oh, wow.
And they came and met a bunch of kids, a bunch of grown-ups. We all had a lot of fun with them.
That's great.
How often do new exhibits come to the Children's Museum here in Holyoke?
Not very often until this past year. Our ATC, which is what you guys started in, which has the car, that came in April.
That was the electric car?
Yeah, and then this exhibit, the Paw and Play, just opened in November. And that was pretty big for us to have 2 relatively large new exhibits in a year, thanks to some really great sponsorships. This Paw and Play was sponsored by the Whitcomb Foundation, and the car area was sponsored by Marcotte Ford, right around the corner. And then we always have smaller rotating things like our crafts, our activities. We focus a lot on books and literacy, so we have rotating curated selections of books that come in and out in our lending library upstairs. Here we're in our tot lot, which is specially designed for toddlers and little hands. We've got a lot of wooden toys, we've got a Lego table, a magnet wall. We often get folks who come with a little kid and an older kid. It's kind of fun that these spaces are right next to each other, so you can kind of pop in and out and watch both ages.
It's got one of those toys that I always associate with the doctor's office. I don't know why. Did every doctor's office have one of those?
Yes. We had like 2 of them because my brother would break them.
Oh, you had them at home?
Oh, yeah, we had them at home.
Nice. Lucky. Did you have a Snoopy snow cone maker?
No,
That was
God.
the other toy that I was always jealous of. It's February vacation week, and again, a lot of people are looking for fun stuff to do with the kids. Any special programs here at the Holyoke Children's Museum that you want to tell us about, Emmy?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a lot going on February break. It's one of our busiest weeks of the year. Every day we have a story time and an in-house activity. That's something that's either run in our art studio, our picnic area, even our animation station. And that could be anything from a dino dig. We've got scavenger hunts. We've got bracelet making. And then we have folks from the community who are coming in to do offerings. We've got Bomba de Aquí coming in to do a bomba performance.
Love them.
They're very cool. We've got Mad Science of Western New England coming in to do kids chemistry and dry ice activities. Really cool. We've got an intro to kids printmaking with Lino. We got a lot of cool stuff going on. All of it's on our website and our socials for folks to check out. And one of my favorite things about planning this is all of our activities are free with the price of your ticket, which is super important and matters a lot to us that we make it as financially accessible as possible.
Julie, as operations manager, I would assume that being operations manager is a lot of cleaning after unexpected kid-related things. But what's one of the surprisingly fulfilling things about being operations manager at the Holyoke Children's Museum?
Oh man, my most favorite thing about this place is, as a Holyoke native, being able to come back to Holyoke and do my work here has been so rewarding. It is really hard to have a bad day here. No matter what's going on in the office, no matter how many emails I'm behind, you come out onto the floor and you find a kid discovering something new, figuring out how something works, and figuring these new ways to design their own play. It's just fascinating, and it's so fun to see their joy.
Yeah. I just need to take a 5-minute break and jump into the climbing structure again.
Exactly, get the stress out.
Do not tempt me, and I should eventually leave this place. I don't have any children.
The Holyoke Children's Museum has plenty still happening throughout the rest of February vacation week, including Friday, where admission is free for everybody. Check their website for more details.
And now we get into the scary side of the English by way of Greek language with Word Nerd Emily Brewster and the words we use to describe our fears.
You're listening to the Fabulous 413 on 88.5 NEPM.
Ooh.
The Fabulous 413 podcast is funded by the UMass 5 College Credit Union, offering co-op advantage checking with cash back on all purchases, plus secure debit card controls, all from the UMass 5 mobile banking app. Insured by NCUA, umass5.coop. The Fabulous 413 podcast is funded by Ski Sundown in nearby New Hartford, Connecticut, offering night skiing until 10 on 16 groomed and lighted trails. Ticket and rental information at skisundown.com. Winter made better.
Emily Brewster, resident wordster from Merriam Webster, our dictionary in Springfield. There is no shortage of people living in fear for one reason or another right now. Let's learn about those fears together as we discuss the linguistic look at phobias.
Naming things helps put them in perspective.
For sure.
And some of these also are things that we can be glad that we don't have a fear of for many of us. I doubt anyone out there has got a fear of all of these. So I thought it might be fun to talk about them. And I'm wondering
what
if
is
you
that
can guess what
pantophobia
they
that Charlie
mean.
Brown was afraid of?
Or maybe you have pantophobia. Do you think you have pantophobia? What's pantophobia? The fear of everything. That's it!
That's it from the Charlie Brown Christmas special. I think not fear of pants. Charlie Brown does wear short pants all the time, but maybe Snoopy has the other kind of pantophobia where he doesn't wear pants. All of the things I know about phobias come from the Charlie Brown Christmas special.
There's no way that's true because arachnophobia is a movie.
That's true.
Now, experts are moving in. Rock and roll! And neighbors are moving out.
There may be some spiders around here that are very dangerous.
Okay, so what are some of your favorite fears, Emily?
Okay, well, I want to know if you know what this one means. These are such obscure words. The fear of these things is not totally obscure, and certainly these things that people can potentially be afraid of or not are very common. But the words that we use to talk about them are just, they're so Greek and so Latin, but especially Greek, that it's all Greek to everybody. So, do you know what kinesophobia is? Kinesophobia.
Is it fear of moving?
Yeah, exactly.
I was going to say fear of the structure that runs the Israeli government, the Knesset, but I was wrong.
Well, no, like kinesthesiology or kinetic learners. So that's what I was.
The Greek root kinein, Kinein. That Greek word means to move.
So what does this fear entail exactly?
Well, it's a pathological fear of motion. So, for example, the merry-go-round is not your ride.
It doesn't mean like your actual body moving around. Or the perfect person for this would be those people that are like at a public event and they look like statues. They just stand there and they get money from people and then the little kid gives them money and then they scare the bejesus out of them.
Kinesophobes.
Yeah, they're kinesophobes. They don't want to move. They're really good at staying still.
I don't think so. I believe that it is fear of motion that the person themselves is not under control of.
Okay.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. It's like being Cossack.
It's like body snatchers.
Well, that too. What's another fear that we can
one.
lean into in this time of fear? Oh, is it Halloween? No, it's not. It's just February.
Just.
Cathissophobia. This one is very obscure.
Fear of Catholics.
Kathis.
No way.
Kathis.
This. Fear of endings?
No.
Fear of Cathys.
Oh my God.
He didn't get out of the cock-a-doodle car!
It is the fear of sitting down.
Come on now. One person doesn't want to move around. Another person doesn't want to sit down.
I know. And English has words for all of these things, which is so fascinating. I mean, borrowed them wholesale from Greek. But yeah, the Greek word kathizein, Kathizein, means to sit down.
Does the dictionary go into the diagnoses of this type of fear?
No, we just catalog that these things exist and let people go and take that knowledge and do what they will with it.
Yeah, I don't want to make fun of people for their legitimate phobias, but I can't. It's interesting because the first thing that shows up is Merriam Webster's dictionary when you hit it on Google, and it shows a picture next to it of a merry-go-round. So if you have kinesophobia or whatever, and
kinesophobia
and cathissophobia, you definitely don't want to go on a merry-go-round because they make you sit down and then move around.
Yes, out of your control.
All right, here's another thing that we're going to have to talk about, other things people are not going to want to do. Echmophobia. Echmophobia.
Spell this one.
Aichmophobia.
Huh.
Nothing.
No, nothing.
The Greek word aikme, I'm sure that's not how it's pronounced, AIKHME with a macron over it. That Greek word means spear or javelin.
So fear of being stabbed?
Or fear of pointy things?
Yeah,
fear of pointy
sharp
things.
or pointed objects.
Because you'll be stabbed with them.
Yeah.
Well, a pointed object can be a finger. So a finger being pointed at you.
How dare you point at me? You were pointing first. Rude to point.
You're being very rude. You're not even believing what I'm saying.
Which one pointed first?
Spider-Man pointed first. Obviously.
Does acupuncture and achemophobia have any similar sort of etymology there?
No,
Okay.
the acu in acupuncture comes from Latin, acutus, or acu, meaning sharp. And that's related to the word acute. Of course, a lot of words that are from Latin do have an even older Greek ancestor. But in this case, that does not appear to be the case. Its ultimate root is an Indo-European base word meaning sharp.
Okay, so what's our Greek-based fear of pointy things word again?
Achemophobia, A-I-C-H-M-O.
Achemophobia.
Pointed things make you ache.
Yeah, that's really why I went down to the acupuncture thing. I was like, if I had a needle in me, I would achemo.
Isn't that like the opposite of what it's supposed to do?
I guess so, but
You're supposed to ache less?
Maybe it hurts at the time.
Yeah.
Again, I have never done it, but good for you all if you have. I know people swear by it. What's another phobia that people have, Emily Brewster, that Merriam Webster has documented in your fabulous dictionary of all things English language?
Amaxophobia.
Amaxophobia. Fear of people named Max.
Well, it just so happens that your friend here is only mostly dead.
No, it's got to be fear of like the largest things, maybe fear of large numbers.
That's a good guess. It's actually, the Greek root, amaxa, means wagon. Amaxophobia is just fear of being in or riding in a vehicle.
That's understandable. They're dangerous.
Yeah, not specifically a wagon.
Right.
Does this?
It's broadened, yes.
Yeah, so in modern day, this translates to cars and larger vehicles, yes?
Yes, but earliest uses of the word, and we're talking like late 19th and early 20th century, referred to the fear of being hit by a carriage. But it was later used to the fear of being in a vehicle as opposed to being hit by one.
Imagine what it would be like if you were from centuries ago and somebody put you in a car going 60 miles an hour. It would blow your flipping mind.
Totally. I mean, it is rational, especially in a case like that, to have a serious case of amaxophobia.
To the maxophobia. Other fears that we would like to elucidate, Emily Brewster?
You might know this one. This one is more widely known than some of these others. It is ailurophobe, spelled A-I-L-U-R-O-P-H-O-B-I-A.
Oh, I should know this one. I bet you I'm going to be mad when I hear this one.
You are.
Because A-I-L-U is something that's familiar to me. We were doing pretty bad on this quiz.
I got one. I feel okay about it.
Yeah, that's good. Fear of aliens.
No way.
I know it's not that.
Are you ready?
Ready.
It's cats.
Oh.
Why is it cats?
Ailuros is the Greek word for cat.
Right.
Oh.
See? I knew I'd be so mad at myself. I knew.
Why.
I knew.
Yeah. It's interesting. Why don't we name our phobias after the Germanic words for things? Instead, we use these words that are very, very formal sounding. I mean, they're not even Latin, which is much more familiar to English speakers than Greek words are. But then we go all the way back. We go to straight to Greek for all these phobias. I mean, the word phobia is Greek itself. It's really pretty typical for medical terms to be either Greek or Latin in English.
Do you know why I feel so mad that I didn't know that one? Because it is literally one of the ones that Lucy from Charlie Brown Christmas talks about. I was like, I know this one from somewhere.
If you're afraid of cats, you have ailurophasia.
That is indeed one of the ones that Lucy tried to teach us about when the doctor was real in the Christmas special.
And I feel like the reason we don't use Germanic terms for this is because, like, the Greek kind of makes it sound a little bit prettier. No offense to the Germanic language that is at the base of English for sure, but I feel like if it were in German, it would just double down on how horrific you feel about having these fears sometimes.
Yeah.
Das verstehe ich nicht ganz.
I mean, I think that it's also helpful somehow to us, perhaps, to put distance between the ailment and our everyday life, our everyday language, maybe. Right. We don't want that kind of that intimate word being used, which is why it's so interesting to me the way that the word gut, the word gut just seems to be used in medical context way more than I remember it being in years gone by.
Just taking the informal word gut and throwing it in there, yeah. I don't mind that so
But we
much.
don't actually have a more formal, medically sounding word for it, as far as I know. All right, here's a phobia that I sort of have, but I don't really qualify as actually having it. And certainly anybody who looked closely at any part of my house would know that I do not really. I don't manage this phobia if I indeed do have it. It is amathophobia. It is not anything to do with math.
I'm going to just use the context clues here, and please take no judgment with this. Is it fear of messiness?
Piles or clutter.
It's actually dust.
Oh, so we were on the right track, but we don't get it. We don't get it.
You've been to my house.
I told you I didn't want you to read any judgment into it. I was trying to just use context clues.
But dusting is hard. You can't stay on top of that. Your body is releasing particles all of the time.
That makes it grosser.
But it's facts.
I know.
Yeah.
And that one's called amathophobia?
Amathophobia. The Greek word amathos means sand, but apparently we used it anyway to put together the word amathophobia, which is specifically about dust.
Or maybe if you have a beach house and you come off the beach, your dust is made of some sand or whatever. The detritus of your home to be cleaned is sandy.
I like the word dust bunny, though. We define dust bunny as an aggregate of dust. I think it's a very funny definition.
I wonder why we picked bunnies.
I don't know. It's been in use since the mid-20th century, dust bunny.
If it was a dust cat, you could have aleurophobia and amathophobia all in one.
I would think that the people, whoever coined dust bunny, did not have amathophobia.
They had a great imagination to see a bunny in that dust.
They might have thought it was just cute.
All right, this one is, I have to remember how to say it, hypengyophobia. Hypengyophobia.
This is another one that Lucy tells us in Charlie Brown Christmas Special, but again, I'm going to be mad that I don't remember it. I can hear her even saying it.
You're going to put all these clips in there.
Oh, absolutely.
Then you have hypengyophobia.
I mean, like, it's got to be, like, excess of something because of the hype.
Don't believe the hype. What is it?
It's an abnormal fear of responsibility.
We ain't got that.
Maybe we do, actually. We certainly we throw caution to the wind when it comes to responsibility. And a lot of Sunday nights, I'm like, why do I have a grown-up job? Why aren't I on school vacation right now? Hypengyophobia.
Hypengyophobia, yep.
Lucy is so mad at me.
Are you afraid of responsibility? If you are, then you have hypengyophobia.
She's really just there for the money. She's not actually there to help.
That beautiful sound of cold, hard cash. That beautiful, beautiful sound. Nickels, nickels, nickels.
She's a capitalist at heart.
Okay, what do you think about idiophobia?
Okay, I'm going to...
IDEOphobia.
IDEO.
Yeah.
It's not fear of language, probably, then.
No.
It's not fear of idiots.
No, I would assume it's more like fear of thoughts or fear of ideas.
Yeah.
Fear of learning.
Khalees, you got it.
Nice.
Fear or distrust of ideas or of reason.
Oh, I don't know anybody that has that.
I'm gonna cry.
Yeah, this is not one that people tend to self-diagnose, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, look, it is startling to hear the President of the United States suggest that Ukraine started the war. That was an unprovoked invasion by Russia.
I mean, it's not that I don't have it. It's just that the ideas I am fearing are very different from the people that that we would normally say have this.
The Greek root is idios, meaning one's own or private. We also know it in words like idiosyncrasy, ideology.
Idiocracy.
All right, last one. You probably know this one. It's a famous one, and it's a scary one. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Yep.
Coulrophobia. Coulrophobia.
It's a scary one. Is it fear of snakes?
No. It's not just fear of... I want to say it's fear of green, but it's not that either.
It's fear of Cool Ranch Doritos.
Oh, God. I mean, everybody should have that fear. Have you seen the ingredients list?
It's so delicious, though.
Oh, but Late July makes a pretty good substitute.
That's true.
That doesn't taste like plastic.
It doesn't give me explosive diarrhea.
Oh, my God.
Coulrophobia. C-O-U-L.
C-O-U-L.
Yeah.
And it's a scary one.
Yeah.
I know what it is.
Okay.
Is it fear of clowns?
It is.
Yes.
That's valid. That's a valid fear.
Totally.
Now, this one has an interesting etymology. The word was, according to our etymology, the word was apparently invented in the 1990s. Various suggested origins for coulro as Greek kolobathristes, meaning stilt walker, are too phonetically distant to be plausible.
Wow.
So it just came out of nowhere, kind of? Is that what that's meaning?
Yeah.
Wow, they could have called it like
which means that any of us could at any point coin a phobia, and it could go on to live a life of use and practical application.
But they didn't talk at all about where the cool came from, C-O-U-L?
No.
They didn't even try to make it sound like clown Or
I
like,
don't even know who they are.
or like Pennywise,
Right.
a clown that's scary, or now the new Terrifier, whatever that clown's name is.
I mean, there's been many along the way.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Shakes the Clown?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's your name?
Shakes. Shakes the clown.
That one, I think, is a justifiable fear for so many people. For me, I'm scared of clowns, I think. There's an homage to Saturday Night Live's 50th anniversary. They brought back Jack Handey over the weekend for the 50th anniversary, and they did a deep thought by Jack Handey. But the one that sticks in my mind about this one is...
To me, clowns aren't funny. In fact, they're kind of scary. I've wondered where this started, and I think it goes back to the time I went to the circus and a clown killed my dad.
So, Jack Handey, rightly experiencing coulrophobia.
Oh my God. Wow.
Well, thank you for scaring us all, Emily Brewster.
Happy to help.
All of my fears are founded in whatever my brain is doing to me.
You know what would make a good story? Something about a clown who makes people happy, but inside he's real sad. Also, he has severe diarrhea.
Happy 50th anniversary, Saturday Night Live. What a great special it was over the weekend.
Oh my God.
And if there's ever a linguistic question you've got for senior editor at Merriam Webster in Springfield, Emily Brewster, email us at thefab413@nepm.org and we'll ask on your behalf.
Because we love your questions too. You're listening to the Fabulous 413 on 88.5 NEPM.
Well, on the next Fabulous 413, we're looking at dreams and the land.
Way less gastrointestinal distress.
Maybe with a new podcast that examines the Bay State's unlikely aptitude for gambling. We'll chat with documentarian Ian Koss and learn more about the series Scratch and Win.
And we'll go see some art at 50 Arrow Gallery in East Hampton. It looks at the connections between the land, the Afro diaspora, and the histories between them. Science educator and artist Karita Mayfield walks us through her exhibit there, Black Hands, Black Earth. It's so pretty.
And our weekly Thursday chat with U.S. Congressman from the 2nd Congressional District in Massachusetts, Jim McGovern. Have already been fielding questions all week. Get them in as early as you can. If you've got a question for the Congressman, email us, thefab413@nepm.org.
I have a feeling we're just not going to stop getting questions for him for a long period of time. And you know,
be a while.
Like, that's really lucky. So send in your questions.
Yes, yes. I'm Monty Belmonte.
I'm Khalees Smith. We'll talk to you tomorrow on the Fabulous 413.